Hey, do you think anyone's going to listen to this?
Probably not.
Okay, you want to pass me a Bev? Welcome back to Contrasting Vibes. Today we're keeping it ultra casual. I don't even have pants on.
What?
Nah, they're shorts, not
No,
pants.
he's just French girled up, but
I'm
he does
also French.
unfortunately have pants on.
I gotta be. We're not in our normal recording place, so I'm like positioned on my bed, but in order to like keep my head at the right level for the mic to pick it up properly, I'm in that like paint me like one of your French girls, Jack position from Titanic.
I'm gonna paint the shit out of him.
He's gonna paint the fuck out of me. Wait, no, first minute, right?
Aw, Ben.
Oh well, we're not getting sponsored yet anyway.
Yeah, we're making mad bank from this podcast.
No, we're making bad bank because I'm bad bank. What?
Bad
You know,
bank.
fuck it. I don't care anymore. Next segment.
Funny stories.
Stories.
Eventually, we're gonna get into that. I think so.
It's really unorganized tonight. That's why I said we're keeping it ultra casual.
I feel like we're always disorganized though. Always casual.
Dude, contrasting casual podcast.
It's the fucking
Casual
worst.
vibes. Casual vibes.
Yeah, new name.
New name.
This is the worst. So, we're gonna be covering some funny stories throughout our lives. I know Ben brought up one in our last episode about the sex toy
I sure
which
did.
he threw in the woods.
So we're gonna take you a little bit back in time to when I was a juvenile 16-year-old male. And it was high time I got my license. I didn't really want to get my license because, driving is just waiting with rules. And now I'm also super into cars, so that's very contrasting.
Vibes.
Dude. Anyway, my parents were like, you gotta get your license. I'm like, fine, I'll get my license. Little did they know I had an underlying motive. I wanted a pocket pussy. And I couldn't, just be like, hey, Mom, you take me to Spencer's.
Pocket pussy.
Pocket pussy. So I got my license, passed the first time, almost hit someone. Okay, it was their fault, all right? I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but I was taking my test and I was crushing it. And then we get to a place where it looks like this tweaker chick is going to be going into her home, like into her little crack house. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. And then she turns towards her steps and then stops turning towards her steps and turns towards the crosswalk and gets on like that square right before the crosswalk. And I go. And the test instructor was like, hey, they have the right way to cross. And I go, she wasn't crossing. And he goes, yeah, but who has the protection on the on this situation? Is it you in the car or the person on the street? I go, me in the car, but she wasn't crossing. He goes, but if she was crossing, who has the protection? You in the metal car or her who would get hit by the metal car? I'm not going to take any points off because she wasn't at the crosswalk yet, but you be careful. I'm like, uh, okay.
Wait, before we get into your horny 16-year-old self and why you wanted that pocket pussy,
Mm.
it wasn't my driving test. My driving test was with a bitch, but it was with this cool guy. Actually, no, this is before the cool guy. This is what the first.
God, make up your mind.
The first guy I had. We were going around like this outlets area, right? And we had a guy just in front of the car while I was driving, just kind of like yapping to like a friend, but he was like in the middle of the street. So my driving instructor told me to just slowly drive up to him until he leaves. So that's what I did. So I slowly stepped on the gas with this guy just in front of the car, and just slowly kept approaching him. And then he just turned, went wide eyes, and just started wailing on the front of the vehicle. and then went to my side of the car and said, and he like did like the thing where he like
Like roll down
rolled
your
down the
windows.
windows. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, this seems okay. And I rolled down the windows, and he was like in my face. He goes, teach this motherfucker how to drive correctly. I'm like, well, he told me to. He told me to hit you with the car.
But
And he's like, no, I didn't tell you to hit him with it. I said, just go up to him. I'm like, well, you were in the way, and it wasn't a fun time. That was like my very first driving instructor. So
my like third time ever driving, um, a semi merged into my lane without looking, and I was right there. And my driving instructor is going, "Stay in your lane, stay in your lane," because I'm like moving to not get hit. And he was going, "Stay in your lane." And in the back was like a 20-something-year-old dude, like who never learned how to drive. So he was like, we were in rotation, so I was driving. And then he goes, my driving instructor's going, "Stay in your lane, stay in your lane." And the guy in the back going, "That guy's gonna fucking hit us, move!" So like moved into the other lane after making sure it was clear. And the driving instructor goes, "I told you to stay in your lane." And then he looks to the left and goes, "When did that semi get here?" I'm like, "Well, I moved so we wouldn't get crushed by the semi." But it was really funny to have this older dude who's supposed to be teaching me how to drive go, "Stay in your lane," as a semi is encroaching, like almost rubbing my door. Anyways, back to the on track to the story. You know, I pull up to the mall where the Spencer's is because it was like right next to my school, and I strut in and I walk in like I've done this a million times before, even though I was like shaking inside. And I grab the I don't know, it was just the first one I saw because I'm like I'm not too picky with it. I mean, they're all going to be the same, right? So I grabbed it and I strut back over and I stopped to look at some T-shirts because I'm like, oh, Spencer's, they have cool T-shirts. There was this like really cool T-shirt that had it had Snoop Dogg on it with like at a cooking place. And it was advertising his cookbook, The Goon with the Spoon. Little did Snoop Dogg know that goon is gonna mean something different now. Uh, but it was like a T-shirt that was advertising his THC cookbook. I'm like, that's fucking rad. And I'm like, I don't have enough money to buy that. So I walked off, put the I don't know what I was thinking. I just like kind of walked up to the counter and like mic dropped it on the counter. I just like hovered it over and I just heard it go as it's like this goes down on the counter. And this poor like 20-something-year-old girl looks at me and she goes, "Oh, are you 18? You have to be 18 to buy that." And I looked at her and I went, "Yeah, I know. That's why I'm buying it." And she goes, "Okay. Would you like to buy the cleaning product with it too?" And I looked at her and I don't know what possessed me to say this. I'm like, I need to be a dick to this woman right now to prove that I'm 18. Because in my mind, I'm like, old people are dicks. I'm gonna, in order to seem more mature and older, I'm gonna be a dick. And I went, "This ain't my first rodeo, hon." "Yeah, I'll
Aww.
take it." And then she like plops on the counter and goes, "Have a great day." And I went, "Okay, you too." And I walked off. And then I sat in my car and felt really bad because I'm like, I didn't want to be rude to you, but I also wanted this.
Why did I do that? But also, I want to shove my dick in this now.
Yeah. So before I like, it took me a long time to even like use it properly because I got home and I unboxed it. And I'm like, this thing's just kind of fun to wave around. If you've never like had a pocket pussy and just like waved it around,
I've
I,
never had a pocket pussy, but
I strongly urge you to go buy one. And
just to wave it around.
dude, it's so fun. I had a popcorn ceiling, so I used to. Do you know like those foxtail toys?
No.
They're like a half a baseball on a like long ribbon, and you like whirl it around like a mace, and then you like throw it up, and it goes really high, and it like is colorful and is cool to watch. I was doing that with it, so when you because it's like latex rubber, when you like wave it around, it stretches really far.
Hmm.
So it used to stretch really far, and I had a popcorn ceiling, so I'd hum it at the ceiling, and it would go to the ceiling and stick because it would like dig into the latex. And I'm like, that's fucking rad. And then I'm like, I need to name it. I'm gonna name you Elizabeth. And Connor, I bet you're wondering why I named it Elizabeth.
I'm so curious, Ben.
So I named it Elizabeth because my dick's name is Excalibur. So my dick being called Excalibur stems from a high school joke where like some dude named his dick. I don't remember what he named it, but they were like going around and like, Ben, do you have a name for your dick? And I'm like, this is gonna be really funny. Yeah, Excalibur. And they're like, that's dumb. Why is it that? And I went, because they're both 8 feet in length and will change the course of European history. Which is so stupid. I'm like, I'm gonna name you Elizabeth because you're rubbery and stretchy and will change the course of European history. Named after Queen Elizabeth, who is rubbery, stretchy, and changed the course of
Oh.
European history. Anyway, um, when we were moving out of that house, I'm like, I don't. My parents don't know I have this, so I don't know what to do with it. So one day when they left for work, and I was still home alone because of COVID, like at school, I just took it and did the whole foxtail thing,
Mm.
where I just whirled it around and fucking hummed it into the woods.
Yeah,
So
because you couldn't hide it in any way, the boxes, but that was the
box.
best box. Um,
Um,
so
so
fuck.
fuck. Stop that.
Go.
I don't remember what I was gonna say. You go.
I was just talking about how is that? Why was that the best course of action? Was humming it into the woods after thinking like, oh, they don't know we have this. Definitely can't hide it in any way.
Because I was
Into the woods it
worried
goes.
somebody was gonna open like one of the random boxes. We're like, oh, I'll help you unpack, Ben. And then, bam, Elizabeth.
Okay.
Um, who's these? Who's the? It's gone. Oh, also, fun fact: I felt horrible after because like we went to go. My parents told me nothing about the people who were buying our house, other than that they were from Maine. It's a single mom with 3 kids,
Oh,
so it's in the woods of our backyard where one of those 3 kids could find it, or a deer could steal it.
well, at least they don't have to pretend they're 18 when they get their driver's license. They can just take that.
I mean, I cleaned it before I threw it away because like a responsible human
You're
being,
such a good guy, Ben.
such a gentleman.
So most of my stories revolve around my friend Big C, who I've mentioned various times on
Big.
the podcast. Big, um, and he will probably join us in the podcast eventually. So this is just like a hyping him up until he is here, kind of a thing. So
I can't
um,
wait to do the podcast with Big C.
it's gonna be chaotic.
It's gonna be. You're gonna have to edit so much shit out
It's gonna
with
be
Big
great.
C.
Nah, keep it all uncut. It's gonna be great.
Connor, I don't think we can post uncut Big C.
Uh, so Big C has broken many of my bones throughout the time that we've been friends since he so kindly tried to
What
offer
was
me
your
that hot dog.
What was your favorite bone he broke of yours?
Probably my chest. Oh, my ribs, I should say. The first one he did was we were on the back of a boat. We were tubing. It was me in the middle. No, yeah, it was me in the middle. And then Aiden and Big C were on the sides, and they the boat was going 40 miles per hour because my friend Colin was driving it, and he wanted to just see how fast it could go. Um, and then we hit one of the bumps, and we flipped, and then Big C's head just whipped back into my face, smashed my nose in, went down, and then all of a sudden I come back up, and I hear Big C just go, "Oh shit! Oh shit!" And I look up, and I just like touch my nose a little bit, and I just hear crackling, and I just see all the blood, and I just feel really dizzy, and I have like lines going through my vision because I'm like super concussed, and I just look around, I go, guys, I gotta get on the ball.
Hey, at least you could swim. A lot of people like get like concussed from that shit. They don't swim
Yeah.
up. They're just like,
I did have a life jacket on too,
that's good.
but I was able to swim up.
Um,
But I was just like yelling at them, like, guys, I gotta get on the boat.
I can just hear it now. Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
So they both helped me and they swam me over to the boat and we got in. And then everyone else on the boat saw me and went, "Oh shit!" I didn't realize how bad it. Like my entire face was just broken in.
I wish
Um,
they would have taken pictures.
I do have some pictures, at
You'll have
least in the
to.
hospital
You'll
room.
have to show me
Um,
after.
but oh yeah, in the hospital room. So first I went to urgent care. I show up, face covered with blood, nose very crooked, um, blood in my eye because
Nobody
it cut
set
my
your
eye.
nose.
Huh?
Nobody set your
No, they
nose.
don't do that anymore.
Why not?
I don't know. It's bad medical practice
Oh,
apparently. I wish they did because it's still broken as shit, but
is it?
it is. It's very crooked. You can kind of see if you actually like look at it.
Yeah,
Not a lot of people notice though.
yeah, because you don't have like a very out there nose.
So I was in the urgent care, completely covered in blood. I'm like, "Hey, I had a boating accident. Please help." And they're like, "No, we're not taking patients anymore." No, what?
The-
No, nah, you gotta go. And oh, okay. And I walked away. And I went to the ER and I was in there for like 8 hours just to
really?
get stitches. So
Took you 8 hours to get stitches
about that, it was probably like 6 ish.
of
Uh,
like waiting, or
Six. Well, yeah, until I actually got the stitches in, it took about 6 hours from the time I
fuck
arrived. So it wasn't fun. And my parents were at a wedding, so they'd like leave,
the
go to the
wedding,
hospital, to see Big C breaking in my face. Um,
dude. If you would have got that on video.
I wish I did. Second time,
Wait, before you do that, I just want to throw in there. I've never been tubing.
really.
I live in Maine, and like that's everyone in my class had always gone tubing or like gone to like Moosehead Lake a lot. I have never been tubing. I've been jet skiing once when I was 2 because
I haven't been jet skiing.
my dad put me on a jet ski when my mom wasn't looking and took me out, and we had a blast. I don't remember it, but he said we had a blast. And then he heard from the dock, Kevin, you get my kid back here right now. I got yelled at. My dad was a pretty cool guy. Like he still is. He still is a cool guy, but he was like a lot more of an extreme athletes kind of guy. Like he used to do mountain biking a lot, rode motorcycles and raced motocross. When he was in Arizona, he was just kind of riding through the desert, and a cactus like shot the quills out, and it just pinned his glove to his handlebar and like the glove to his hand. So he had to rip it out of the handlebar. He's like, I don't know how I'm gonna get my glove off. So he had to take pliers to rip out the cactus barb so he could get his glove off of his hand.
I've been tubing a lot of my throughout my life. Another thing I've done is parasailing, and
That sounds really
yeah,
fun.
I was in Lake George, and I don't know if you know what it is. It's just like you're in the boat, you have a parachute attached to you, and then you
Yeah,
speed up, and you kind of go flying backwards into the air,
that
and
sounds
you
really
just kind of
fun.
like float there. The thing is, so I was in Lake George. Um, I it was gonna be a windy day, so we decided to go early, and they had like a block open for us that wasn't like our reserve time. No, yeah, you could just go early. So we're like, oh, cool. So we went parasailing. Me and my dad went up there. It was a lot of fun. We went to a place called Fire and Ice for lunch afterwards, and we looked at the TV, and it was like breaking news kind of thing. And apparently, the people that took our block were like in like critical condition because like the rope broke from the wind and like they got drowned
Oh,
basically, and they had to like get like medically evacuated. And that like my dad just turns to me and he just mouth just drops. We just look at each other like, oh shit.
so you went early?
We went early.
Yeah.
They took our time spot
So if you
and
wouldn't
they
have,
almost
that could
died.
have been you guys.
I know. They'd survived, thank God, but like that's just like a crazy story that we
Yeah.
were like one reservation away from like being those people, possibly. Um but tubing's been fun besides Big C breaking my nose.
I don't think I've ever had like a rough near death experience with like an extreme sports kind of thing that I can remember. Um I don't think so. The only near death experience I've I've had was I had a palate expander, which for those of you who don't know what a palate expander is, it's this big metal thing that goes in your mouth and it has a little hole for a key, and when you twist the key, it expands your mouth a little bit at a time, and it stops it from setting back in, so it just makes your mouth wider to like correct some dental stuff. Um, but we were stopped. My parents were getting food, and I was eating a cow tail in the back of the car with my mom while my dad was like going in to pick up the takeout. Um, and suddenly I felt like choking, and I was like, "Why am I choking?" And it turned out the the cowtail, which is for people who don't know what a cowtail is like a caramel taffy with cream inside, and it's long and skinny. Well, the taffy part got caught in the keyhole of the palate expander and like formed to it, so my throat couldn't get it down. So it was just like in my throat, stuck as the piece was stuck in my palate expander.
Good dog.
So like I couldn't get it out with my tongue or anything because it was too far back. My tongue couldn't reach it. So I was choking for a good while before I like jumped out of the car, and I like reached my hand into my mouth to my throat, grabbed it, and just ripped it out of my throat. The cowtail, not the palate expander. And I just was like coughing and shit, and like I was all teary eyed, and I was just like, I'm never eating cowtails again. I had a cowtail fucking like the next day.
Are they that good?
I like them a lot.
um, so my next story with Big C, is when he broke my ribs. We were both really drunk. I don't think it was a July 4th. It was some holiday, I think, maybe. We were sleeping over a friend's house, both very drunk, and we were just kind of beating the shit out of each other. I don't remember for what reason, um, but he started just punching the shit out of me. And my drunk ass told a guy that's like 150 pounds bigger than me and like almost a foot taller, being like, "I'm conditioned. You can't hurt me." and, he took that to throw me on the ground and put his fat ass on my ribs and then just start hopping his shit on my ribs. And
Dude, he was
I just
hopping his shit.
he was hopping his shit on my ribs. And I just hear cracking. I went, uh, and they just broke. And then he just kind of got up. I went, I'm gonna just lay here now. Then I just went to bed, and I woke up and I went, oh no! And I just I tried to get up and I couldn't. It was just immense pain. I'm like, why did I egg him on? I didn't end up getting medical
I was gonna
attention
say,
for
yeah,
it.
I think
Yeah,
you told
never.
me about this, and I was like, you never like went to the hospital to like get your ribs taken care of.
No, and they hurt for like 2 months. So, um, wasn't the best. It wasn't the best time. But it's okay because between Big C breaking in my face and then breaking my ribs in, he got what he deserved, and he got a firework to his shin, well, knee area. Um, I don't know if it was last July 4th or 2 July 4ths ago, but
You guys let Big C around fireworks.
we did.
How'd that work out?
It turns out that it was worse to give it to a Marine that is one of our friends named Brian, and he was very drunk. Big C was very drunk, and they were just fucking around with fireworks. And Brian was like throwing those like little firecracker things. I don't know what they're
The
called.
snappers?
Yeah, the snappers. Wait, are those like the ones that actually like explode?
They're like the little ones you throw on the ground, and then when they hit the ground, they go.
No, no, wait. It was one of the ones that like you throw it, and it goes, and it just kind of like
Oh,
flies forward. Sorry, it
yeah,
wasn't.
yeah, yeah. I know what you're
Well,
talking
he was throwing those crackers at him first, and then like he threw one of those ones, and then Pixie drunkenly just tried to cover it with his. He went, "Oh, oh shit!" and he just tried to like cover it with his foot, and all that did was make the firework go straight up his pant leg, um, and it just teared through all his skin on his leg.
Oh,
Um, so finally, I mean, I feel for the guy. I actually no, fuck Big C. He deserved it. Um, but they rushed him to the hospital, and then like he got all like sewn up and stuff. But I had to for like 3 weeks. For we work at Mosquito Squad, and I had to do all the hills with a 50-pound pack on because he couldn't walk. So I still got the blunt end of it somehow after getting my shit beat in, and then he gets injured, and I still get affected by it.
so what you were mentioning with the conditioning reminded me of a story where, so I used to do judo, and I was a really big kid. I was a much bigger. I was bigger than just about everyone else. Um, so I really didn't have like that many people to like truly practice with. So their solution was to just have me do judo with a fucking grown man as a 12-year-old. And this grown man, like, he didn't take it easy on me, which, like, some people are like, yeah, that's how it should be. You gotta learn. But he wasn't like helping me learn. He was just like throwing me around the whole time, and using me to be like my mom who ran like that division of the school. He was basically just like, yeah, your division of the school sucks. Mine's better. I'll show you. I'm a 40-year-old man. I'm gonna throw the fuck out of this 12-year-old. And I was like, why do I have to like do judo and spar with him? Why can't I spar with like somebody who's not a 42-year-old guy with three fingers on one hand?
Um, that kind of reminds me when I was like probably like 10 or 11, I would say. Um, we were having a St. Patrick's Day party, and my father used to do martial arts too, and he got his black belt, but then he quit, and now I'm a black belt. But at that time, I was only 10 years old. I was probably like a blue or like a green belt, whatever. But he was he was drunk, and we do this thing where we like hold like a position for conditioning, and you have someone just kind of like beat the shit out of you on like different parts of like your body. So he's like, guys, watch this. And he like got all his friends together at the St. Patrick's Day party. He goes, Connor, get into position. And then he maybe like get into the ready position for like a kata. And he just starts wailing the shit out of me because he forgets that I'm a 10-year
10
old,
year old boy.
not a black belt. And I took like a couple punches. I'm like, ooh, start crying from all his friends. He goes, "Uh oh!" I just like run off, and then he looks like a huge asshole. And I felt like bad for him now because he just first he was drunk, but like
Doesn't matter.
he
He's
was
still.
yeah, but like he he's used to like working with black belts. Um, but honestly, I deserved it because when I was like 6, I beat the shit out of him with a baseball bat when he was sleeping. um, that was like 6 or 7. I don't know. I took a wiffle ball bat, and I don't know why, but I went into his bedroom while he was sleeping, and I just smashed his head in with it.
Oh.
And he went. He woke up. He like shut up, and he went, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!" And I just sprint my little ass out, and I run to my closet. And I just hear him stomping behind me, and I like try to close the closet up. And then he swings the door open, and he goes, "Why? Why did you do this?" And I just looked at him like, "I wanted to see you do a circle block like from the Karate Kid movies, like the ones that I'm learning about in karate." He goes, "While I'm sleeping?" I'm like, "I'm sorry." So honestly, I deserved getting punched by my dad during the St. Patrick's Day party after that. So
I
it's all went for a circle.
used to tell my dad. Um, I don't. I think I only tricked him with it one time, and it was the first time. But I used to like keep telling him to do it after, and he's like, "No." But I said, "Hey, Dad, spread your legs apart and put your hands on your head. I want to show you something cool." He's like, okay, buddy, what is it? And he did it, and I just fucking wound back and kicked him as hard as my 6 year old self could in the nuts. And then he would fall down and be in pain, and I thought it was funny, and then I'd run away. I'd laugh and run away. And
um,
don't worry, I got what was coming because I was a really energetic kid. So we had two doors that like led to the same place. So it was like open door, or doorway, I should say. Open doorway, like stove, open doorway, and that led into the kitchen where the cabinets were. And I used to just run in circles between those two doorways as fast as I could as a kid. Well, one time I ran too fast and couldn't make the corner, and I ran headfirst into the corner of a cabinet. And I did that thing, you know, that little kids do where they like hit it and they like hit something, fall on their ass, and they just got like blink twice and go.
um, Big C and his dad Shannon actually did
His
something
dad's name
similar.
is Shannon.
It is, um, where they had some like fight over like the last scoop of spaghetti. I think it was.
Oh,
Where his dad was like, "All right, if I can take my thumb and put you on the ground with it, I get the last scoop of spaghetti." Then before Big C's like, all right, before he could even finish like saying all right, Big Shannon just shoved his thumb into Big C's like ribs, and Big C went and just went on the ground, and then Big C just Big Shannon just took a scoop of the spaghetti, walked over to Big C and just started eating it
like on the
over him.
ground next to him.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
just
that's not cool. I remember how bad my dad felt. We were playing around like shadow boxing a little bit. Um, and I went to like lean in for a punch, and he like started a punch, and he accidentally just clocked me. And I went, "Oh shit, bud, are you okay?" And me being the I don't know, I was like 14 or 15 year old shithead I looked at him, gave him the biggest grin, and went, "Mom, Dad hit me!" And she was like, "What?" And she started like storming out to come see me. And I went, yeah, he accidentally hit me when we were fucking around. She goes, "Don't do that. That's Why would you do that to me?" I don't know. It's kind of funny. I just I had like the look in his face drop when I said that, and he's like, his face just told me, he's like, "You little fucker." um, when I was really little, there's this place in Maine called Funtown Splashdown, and it had like all the standard amusement park rides you'd find at like a local amusement park. There's like one roller coaster. There's a drop tower called the Dragon's Descent that would like scared the shit out of me as a kid. And they had go karts. Well, you can only like drive. You have to be a certain height to drive a go kart. I think I was like 7 or 8, and I like just barely didn't meet the height requirement. It was like clearly meant for people to drive who were like older, but I was like a really tall kid, so I like barely didn't make it. And my parents were like, "It's okay, buddy. You can come back next year and try." And I was like looking at the attendant, and I was like, "Why are you doing this? Why aren't you letting me on? I'm almost there. Just let me drive." And he goes, "I'm sorry, it's not like my rules. I got to follow the park rules." And I apparently like turned away and then turned back, looked at him, and went, "I ought to kick you in the nuts." And my dad grabbed me and like pulled me away. I was like struggling against him, trying to kick this poor fucking attendant in the dick.
Oh god, I wish that like more excite. I wouldn't say there's been a lot of exciting stuff in college, but like just like I've like matured and shit. So like a lot of the stupid shit hasn't happened like the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Um, but like the only couple things where I think I briefly mentioned it in our maybe in our friend episode, um, where we did a regular show.
Oh, the regular show costume
Yeah,
party. That was fun.
Halloween costume party.
I
I,
told you not to go out with it.
I was High Five Ghost, and I decided the best way to do it was just like a sheet ghost, but then put a hand on it. Like I
Like
just
glove. He just had a white glove on it.
yeah, I cut like a hand out of like cardboard and I doubled it up and then I put like a white glove over it. I just kind of like glue, not glue. I like taped it on and I went out and then the first thing that happens is a truck goes by and goes, "Yo, who's the KKK member on campus?" And I went, "Oh."
Didn't you like just turn around and be like, I'm gonna go put a hat on and then just tape
No,
the
I
hand to
I
it?
still went down to the
Oh.
house and we took photos. I'm like, guys, isn't this funny? I look like a KKK member. Anyway, I gotta get out of here because this is probably bad. And I changed immediately after a couple photos, and then I actually changed to where I didn't look like a white supremacist.
So I also don't remember if I mentioned the story, but this was on that same night. I was Muscle Man, so I painted my entire face bright green,
Yes, he did.
so I looked like Muscle Man. And I ended up like we were walking down. I was really excited. I was doing the voice the whole time, so I was like, "You know who else has dementia? You know who else has dementia?" And it's like doing the Muscle Man voice the whole time. Sorry, I'm in the French girl position, so it's really hard to like do the voice and get enough breath support for it. But we like get down and we're having a good time and we take pictures and one of our friends who was dressed up as Rigby, um, we were, like I was at their house and I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna say who it is in case like people actually listen to our shit. But like, hey, I'll use Rigby. Like, hey Rigby, I'm gonna go outside for some air and like, you know, because it's getting a little warm in here. So I go outside and I sit on this bench and this like bigger lady, must have been a freshman, just sits next to me and she was dressed as like a not very clothed F1 flag girl. She was in like really high booty shorts, like red booty shorts with a F1 jacket and like a bra, like a red lace bra on. And she was fucked, dude. She was so drunk. She was trying to like get this gay guy to take her home and have sex with her. And like the guy is like, "No, actually I'm gay." And then she goes, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense." And he was like, "But I can stay with you and, you know, make sure you're safe and stuff. Like, I don't want somebody to take advantage of you." And I just hear, like, I'm on the bench and I just hear her go, "No, I'm a virgin. I want it. I want it." And I'm like, "That's bad. Somebody should probably tell campus safety." And as I go to get up to, like, tell someone, she, like, sits down on the other end of the bench and starts talking to me. We're just having, like, a normal conversation at first, like, as normal as you can with a very, very drunk girl who was, like, talking. She was just talking. Like I was just kind of sitting there, like, "Yep, uh huh, oh yeah, that's nice." Like not paying a whole lot of attention because she just seemed like she needed somebody to ramble to. I started to notice her like scooting closer, and then closer, and then closer, and like as she's scooting closer, I was sitting in the middle of the bench, and I'm scoot away, and she would scoot closer, and like eventually I'm at the end of the bench, and she had like scooted like pretty close, almost like right up against me, and then she turns to me and she goes, "If you weren't green, I would so make out with you." And I stood up. I'm like, "Okay, um, oh, I think that's my friend Rigby. I gotta go see him." And I walk over to him, and I go, "Dude, I can you take me inside? I need an excuse to get out of this really awkward situation. That girl over there is trying to kiss me. Like, I have a girlfriend, and I really don't find her attractive. I just like don't want to be in this situation anymore." And he like looks behind me at the girl and at full volume, like doesn't take it down at all. Like I was whispering to him, doesn't take it down at all. He just goes, "Oh, you mean the land whale?" And I looked at him and I went, "Rigby, you can't say that, but yes." And he goes, "Okay, I got you." And then he just like looks at her, smirks and snickers, and then takes me inside.
Oh God.
And I told him about. He was drunk, like a little drunk. I told him about that like the morning after, and he goes, "I don't remember that at all. I'm not usually like that.
um, speaking of drunk, have you ever had like any like crazy throw up experiences?
Nothing like insane. I know Big C has had one in our bathroom in sophomore year.
Yeah, that's great.
It was for context, he drank a lot of red wine. And then when he threw it up, it was all red. So it just looked like somebody got murdered in our bathroom.
Yeah, because it was everywhere. The shower, the stall,
Everywhere,
the
the shower
walls.
stall, the walls. It was so
Another
fucking
time
bad.
with Big C throwing up was at my house, and we were all fucked up. But I went upstairs to like get paper towels because I think he just like spilled a drink like all over my carpet, and I came down. I came downstairs, and Aiden was like, his like nose was like touching Big C's cheek, like he was that close,
Oh
and he
god.
just looks at Big C and he goes, "You gonna throw up?" And then Big C just projectile vomits fucking everywhere, all over my carpet. I'm just standing on like midway up the stairs, holding the paper towels, jaw dropped, just looking at them like, "You
You're gonna
guys gotta be fucking kidding me."
you're gonna throw up.
And he looked at me and goes, "I'm sorry," and he just turns and starts throwing up again.
Oh wait, I kind of do, I guess. Something I've discovered very recently this year is I'm a sleep puker apparently.
Yep.
So I've calmed it down and I've like realized okay, as long as I don't like I drink and then like go to bed, like as long as I'm up and like ride it out for a little bit when I start to feel myself getting a little better, then go to bed, I'll be fine. But um, this was on a Monday. I have, which is weird because I only have classes on Tuesday. We went to a 50 cent wig night at Dublin, and I forget. I must have smashed like close to 20-25 wings there, and then had like 3 beers in not a very long time. So I was already like kind of feeling a buzz. And we get home and we start playing a drinking game called Trunk Dexting. No, Sodally Tober.
Yeah.
Um, where the point of the game is like you get a card and you have to do what the card says. And you're like trying to get as many cards as possible. I think I don't remember a whole lot because that game is usually a blur with me.
At that point, yeah.
Or if you like want to get rid of the card, if it's like a bad card, like talking an English accent, you have to take a shot to get rid of it.
Right.
Well, the card I got was spell everyone in the group's name backwards,
Yes.
and I'm dyslexic, so spelling is not my strong suit. Um, every time you get like it wrong, you have to start over and then take a drink of your drink. And all I really remember of it is doing very bad and going through like 3.5 beers in less than 15 minutes.
Oh my god.
And I was just like, NJ, fuck! NOC, fuck! Well, I L? And everyone going, no, that's not it. I'm like, ugh.
Dude, I had a blast just saying no like
Yeah.
20 times.
Yeah, because you guys just
drink.
kept,
No drink.
yeah, and I was like not good because I had already like done a couple of shots to get rid of some cards, some of the bad cards, and I was stumbled up to bed, had a little water, went in bed. I'm like, this is gonna be a good sleep, and then I woke up a little bit, and I like felt something coming out of my mouth, but I thought I was dreaming. So, like, I felt something, and I didn't open my eyes, and I opened my eyes a little bit, and went, oh, that was gross. And I get up, shower, still like drunk. Like I woke up really drunk. So I got up, showered, came back, looked at my bed, and I went, "Oh no,
You were so loud too.
oh no." So I grabbed my sheets and my blankets. I tried to be as quiet as I could, but you know,
You were still drunk too, so that didn't
yeah.
help.
I threw them in the washer. all the way downstairs in our basement. Those stairs suck. Drunk, by the way.
I bet.
But I stumbled my ass downstairs all the way. Down 2 flights of stairs, throw my shit in the washer, get up to the living room. I'm like, Siri, set a timer for 35 minutes. And I see her, like, the timer activate. And I turn on the TV and I open Hulu and I'm like, I need something to keep me awake. So I I press on Family Guy once and it gets to the do you want to watch Family Guy screen. It's like press OK to watch, and I pass out with the remote in my hand. And I wake up to my alarm going off. Um, and I look at the time and it was like an hour. My alarm had been like going off for almost an hour. And I'm like, I get up, move everything to the dryer, come back, put on like actually put Family Guy on this time, and then clock out. And then I wake up to our roommate Nicole coming out of her room. She was like, "Ben, why are you on the couch?" And I was just like covered in like half a blanket covering me, fully clothed. Like when you're asleep, fully clothed, you know it's not a great night. But like fully clothed, and I look over and I went, I puked in my bed last night, so I was washing my stuff. And I got up, put my shit back on, and fucking went on with my day.
We need to get you French drunk again.
No, I'm not getting French drunk again.
Oh, I mean, I'm basically out of stories, and also we have bros.
Yeah, we gotta go browse.
4 minutes, so
So
hope,
now I can smell more like a fire pit.
yeah, stinky, stinky fire pit.
I don't smell like a stinky fire pit.
Stinky
I don't
fire
smell like
pit.
a stinky fire pit.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed
This was a
our
fun. This was a fun episode for us. It was
casual
very
talks,
casual.
funny stories. It was a good time. So
Yeah,
next week, fucking no clue who's gonna be here.
we're
But
gonna
it's
have
gonna be fun.
someone.
It might be a collab with a certain people, but
It might be.
it might be. But who knows?
Who knows?
So
I sure don't.
I don't either. So all right,
Then who knows?
you guys will know next week. So
Goodbye.